This is my journey.
Well, there's not a lot of flowers around here this time of year. Sure was beautiful earlier, but the bouquets have all gone home with the girls. You know, I'm one of those guys that spends most of my life moving way too fast to really see spots like this. But there are times when you just want to find a peaceful spot and imagine that life could really be this nice. But, you know, I can't really talk about communication without considering those times when things are bad. Probably don't even have to illustrate it for you. Conflict is one of the most familiar realities of married life, and it's almost always present in large measure when things finally fall apart. First, I want you to know that conflict is always a part of marriage. Some kids just starting out aren't fully prepared for that. You know, they come ask me, Mike, we're fighting a lot. What's wrong with us? I try to encourage them by telling them that they're supposed to have conflict, that two very different people cannot become close or build a life together without a significant amount of conflict. I even tell them that if you're not having conflict, you probably don't have a healthy relationship because you can't really be getting closer to each other. Those sparks have to occasionally fly. Of course, they're disappointed in that answer. They want to think that there's a button they can push or some magical step they could take to put an end to the fighting. Well, I can tell you pretty confidently that no such button exists. Of course, the real reason they want to find such a nirvana is that being in conflict isn't any fun. In fact, it can be downright miserable, even frightening. And that's the real issue. What I don't like about conflict isn't as simple as not getting my way or making my point. It's the fear. The thought that somewhere underneath the issue at hand, I'm going to discover that this person who promised to be with me through anything might not be as on my side as I had hoped. Conflict has a way of triggering all of our insecurities, so much so that sometimes we'll say almost anything or even do things that we never really intended just to somehow win a fight. We try to conquer those insecurities by conquering our partner, and we both end up damaged in the process. But conflict doesn't have to be scary. And it won't be if both you and your partner make a real effort to help each other feel safe in those moments. You see, if you can debate an issue without feeling like you're losing something, you can usually engage the issue in a way that works toward a good solution. But if you start feeling afraid, you may reach for words that hurt or actions that could scar your relationship. In my experience, the best way to create this kind of security is with a few boundaries, kind of like a fence that you and your partner choose to live inside. In a wrestling match, the action is contained inside the ring with ropes and cables to keep the battle in a safe environment. If it spills outside that boundary, well, it can get a lot more dangerous. Actually, wrestling might not be the best analogy. But let me illustrate this boundary idea. What would happen if you and your partner agreed that no matter what, you would never threaten the relationship when you're arguing? I mean, nobody walks out, nobody slams the door, nobody uses the divorce word, nobody says, maybe we weren't meant to be together. Let's be honest. The reason we do that is to scare our partner so we can get what we want. I mean, if I walk away and you don't know if I'm coming back, well, that just shows you how serious I am. But fighting with fear isn't just mean-spirited. It'll damage the trust of your relationship. Usually your extreme action will lead to some similar response by your partner, and things could quickly escalate beyond control. Or if your scare tactics work, you'll be in even greater danger because you'll use them over and over again. And you'll be completely unaware of the damage you're doing until your partner finally locks the door behind you. There are other good boundaries for marriage that you can find in the insider part of this website. You're always welcome there anytime you want to go deeper into these things. There we can apply this idea to several actions, but for now, let me just encourage you to think about what you can do so that your partner feels safe in a conflict. How can you help him or her trust that you just want to find the best answer for your life together? You made some pretty big promises on that wedding day. Don't bring them into doubt when you aren't getting your way. And if you've done some of that, maybe a good first step is an apology and a new promise to avoid those fear tactics in the future. In part 4, we're going to take a look at the second of the 4 core things that makes marriage difficult. So we're going to go back over there where we had our wedding ceremony for that one. I'll see you there.